In Japan, the winters are pretty cold, and especially if you're in Kyushu, or where I am, which is the southern island, the winters are not really that cold, but the thing is that the house inside is the same temperature as it is outside. I'm originally from Colorado, so I'm used to cold, but it's not usually the norm for it to be, 9 degrees Celsius in the middle of the afternoon in the middle of your house. When you wake up in the morning, it's like 1 degrees, and literally when you go to the bathroom, things sort of steam because it's so cold. So everybody has heated toilet seats to keep things warm, and a lot of people have heaters in their houses. But usually there's only one room that's chosen to have a heater, and then maybe they have space heaters that use like a kerosene kind of to work, that we put in different rooms depending on where we are. So it's actually a really efficient and smart way to live because people focus on only heating the area that they're in instead of wasting energy heating parts of the house that they're not even in. When you really think about it, it's an incredibly smart idea. It's just a little hard to get used to sometimes. But the other thing that we use to keep warm are hot carpets, where you put that on the floor. Most flooring in Japan is wood or tatami, and so you don't see very many places that have carpet. And so there's these little small kind of space carpets that you can then use that heat up. They're electric. When you sleep, you can use electric blankets. Or we also use yutampo, which is a hot water bottle. Those are pretty popular. Also, another really popular thing is to use little pads of heat that you can carry in your pocket when you go to school and work. So there are lots of different ways to keep warm. But the more popular way is to have a kotatsu. And a kotatsu is a short table. I'll show you guys here as I turn the camera around. Here's a kotatsu. It's a table, and it's a short table. You can kind of see from our TV there. It's very low, so when you sit down at it, it comes right up to your chest. This one is a little larger. There's some that are just perfectly square. This is a rectangular shaped one. And you can see they usually include also a kind of mat that you put on the floor. That's actually over our electric blanket. And then you also have a kind of blanket that is kind of sandwiched between the top layer of the table and the base. And I'll show you guys here how this is all connected, but you can kind of see this actually lifts up, and there's the blanket underneath. And then underneath here, you can kind of see, I don't know if it's going to show with the camera. There we go. You can see that little unit back there. It's just electric, and this is kind of like a heating, like a space heater, but it's placed right underneath the kotatsu. And then if you have these blankets over it, some people have multiple blankets. You can buy like luxury ones. Mine are pretty basic because I still have little tiny kids that spill things everywhere, but you can get a lot of those really nice comfy blankets over it, and it stays really warm. A lot of people like to snuggle up underneath there and sometimes even fall asleep and take a nap. And like I was saying, it's a pretty nice and comfortable way to stay warm in the winter. It's kind of a common image to see a bowl of tangerine oranges on top of the kotatsu and people snuggled up underneath. Cats love to snuggle underneath. We had a dog who liked to be in there too, but then would realize he was way too hot and would come out panting later. So it's a kind of a nice place to be. It's kind of a pretty cool part of Japanese life that I really like. There are also some, if you don't like sitting on the floor, there's other kind of regular standard size dining table versions of kotatsu. So it's actually just like a normal dining table in the States, really tall legs, and you just sit on normal chairs. But then there's that heating unit underneath, and you can put really fancy blankets on it to keep warm. So it's also a nice alternative, especially for elderly people who might have a hard time sitting on the floor. So, but that's kind of just my little introduction to what it's like to be in Japan when it's cold.